In the kingdom of Everwyn, there was one rule everyone followed without question. No one spoke Prince Caelum's name anymore, not in the palace, not in the streets, not even in whispers. People said the prince had betrayed the kingdom. They said he was weak. They said he chose shame over duty. After many years, people stopped asking questions because forgetting became easier than remembering. Once, Prince Caelum had been everything a kingdom could hope for. He was kind and calm, speaking gently and listening carefully to everyone around him.
Good morning, Elara. How are your children?
Oh, Your Highness, they're doing wonderfully.
And you, Gareth? Was the harvest better this season?
It was much better, thank you for remembering.
He walked through the markets without guards and talked to common people like they were his friends, remembering their names, their children, and their troubles. The people loved him deeply, and his mother, the queen, loved him even more. Inside the palace lived Lord Severin, the queen's younger brother. He was wise, calm, and deeply respected by everyone in the court. He gave good advice and solved problems quietly, so much so that many believed the kingdom stayed peaceful because of him. The queen trusted him completely, never doubting his loyalty or his wisdom. One morning, Prince Caelum did not come to the council meeting. At first, people thought he was ill, but by evening, they grew worried. A letter arrived, written in the prince's own hand, saying that he was leaving. It said the crown was too heavy for him to bear. It said he could not rule anymore and wanted to step away from his duty. The court was shocked, but the queen refused to believe it. "Find him," she ordered with desperate urgency. Guards searched the palace room by room, checking every corner and hidden space. Soldiers searched the forests, the villages, and the mountains, asking travelers, merchants, and farmers if they had seen the prince. No one had seen him. Weeks passed, then months, and the search grew slower as hope began to fade. A second letter came, and this one spoke of mistakes, of fear, and of wanting to disappear forever. The court slowly began to accept what seemed impossible to deny. The queen had no choice but to believe her son had abandoned her and the kingdom. Her grief was unbearable, and Lord Severin stayed by her side through it all, comforting her and helping her rule.
Everwyn needs you to be strong.
Slowly, the kingdom moved forward. Slowly, they stopped searching his name. The prince became a memory. Years turned into decades, and the story of Prince Caelum became something people barely remembered. Many years later, workers began repairing the old western wing of the palace that had been abandoned for decades.
The fire! Move back, now! Get some water!
A small fire started during the repairs, filling the ancient stone halls with thick smoke. Behind a sealed door that shouldn't have had anyone behind it, they heard coughing. They broke the lock and pushed the heavy door open. Inside was a thin man with hollow eyes and dirty, torn clothes. His hair was long and tangled, his skin pale from years without sunlight, and his voice was so weak they could barely hear him. But when he spoke the queen's childhood name, the secret name that only her family knew, the workers froze in terror and disbelief. The prince was alive. Caelum was brought before the court, standing on legs that could barely hold him after so many years of imprisonment. His body was weak, but his voice grew steady as he began to speak. He told them everything with quiet, devastating clarity. Lord Severin had locked him away in that forgotten room. Severin had written the letters in forged handwriting. Severin had buried the truth, because he feared losing his power when Caelum became king. The prince had been there all along, beneath their feet, crying out in a silence no one heard.
No one hears me. No one listens.
The court listened without interruption, their faces unreadable. Then they made their choice, and it was not the one Caelum had hoped for. Lord Severin had been powerful and was now dead. The kingdom was peaceful and prosperous. The truth, they decided, was simply too dangerous to accept. The prince has been alone too long, they said, with false sympathy. His mind is broken from the years of isolation. Reopening the past will only harm Everwyn and undo all the good that has been built. The queen looked at her son across the great hall. He was thin and strange, aged beyond his years, almost unrecognizable as the boy she had lost. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but no words came. In the end, she said nothing at all, and her silence was the cruelest blow of all. For the good of the kingdom, the court declared with finality, this matter is closed. That night, Caelum was given a choice that was not really a choice at all. He could return to the shadows and live the rest of his life as a prisoner of their mercy, or he could leave Everwyn forever and never return. He chose to leave because he understood now that some kingdoms do not deserve their princes. No crown was returned to him, no apology was spoken, no justice was given. He walked beyond the borders alone as the sun rose. Behind him, the gates of Everwyn closed, with a sound like a door ceiling shut forever. Everwyn continued to grow wealthy and strong. History was written without Prince Caelum's name. And Lord Severin was remembered as a hero who had guided the kingdom through difficult times. But far away, in villages so small they had no names, a quiet man lived among farmers and shepherds. He helped those in need, healed the sick with gentle hands, and refused every title and position of power that was offered to him. He carried no anger in his heart, no bitterness or desire for revenge. He carried only the knowledge that sometimes the truth is not enough to change the world. Sometimes kingdoms choose comfortable lies over painful truths. Sometimes the innocent are sacrificed so that others can sleep peacefully at night. And sometimes the greatest act of dignity is walking away from a world that chose to forget you. In the end, Prince Caelum found something the kingdom never gave him. He found peace not in a crown or a throne, but in knowing that he had survived with his soul intact, that he had refused to become the monster they needed him to be to justify their betrayal. And perhaps that was the truest form of victory, the kind that needs no witnesses, no celebration, no recognition. The kind that lives quietly in the heart of one man who chose truth over a kingdom and freedom over a crown that was never really his to begin with.